This video is for empathic people who struggle to set healthy boundaries because most empathic people feel guilty in doing so. And also maybe finding themselves attracting narcissistic type people in their life. I used to be one of those people who struggled to set boundaries. And if you can relate to that, then this video is for you. Thing number one, saying no. If you say no to going out to that birthday party or going out to the bar because you want to value your own time and recovery and rest because you only get 2 days off or sometimes even 1 day off of work, or you just don't want to go, say no. It's extremely empowering and it's authentic to you. As simple as that one is, a lot of us feel guilty saying no and denying someone our availability so we can focus on ourselves. Now, for a long time for me, I struggled to say no because I found myself being a people pleaser, seeking validation and approval from others by giving my time and doing so, and doing things I didn't really want to do. And one time, and this is how I found myself having a narcissistic type friend in my life, not anymore. One time, they asked for my assistance on something, and for the first time, I said no because I was more focused on working on some digital art and I wanted to continue doing that. They told me, okay, you only get to tell me no so many times. That's what this person said to me. And I felt so guilty that I chose myself over going to go help. And then you know what I did? I went and got my shoes on and went to go do the thing anyway. When all I had to do was stick to saying no, I don't want to do this. And you know what? After you do that, that's their shit to deal with. It's not yours. It's not your shit if they can't take your no, and if they can't accept the no you give them as a friend. Are they really your friend? Are they really looking out for your best interest? So that's a really good indicator on who's probably not going to be staying in your life much longer, and let them go gracefully. Thing number two, telling someone to stop. Could you stop doing this behavior? Look, I don't appreciate when you do this. Can you stop? And I've had a hard time telling people to stop doing something that was bothering me and driving me up the wall. Eventually, all that suppression of saying no, or they keep asking for the same thing over and over, it builds up, and then eventually you want to explode. And then you don't come at it from a loving place. And one time I had this roommate who wanted to purchase a maid, and because she didn't like to clean very much. And yeah, I admit I wasn't the best at cleaning after myself, but I got pretty good at it. And eventually I was so good at cleaning up after myself that one day they realized, my two roommates, that they were the mess. One of them came up to me and told me, it's funny how that shifted around. And I'm like, yep. But I never, I was never nagging towards them. I never complained. I just let it be when I really should have addressed it. Now, back to the maid situation. This person hired a maid once a month to clean up the common areas and their rooms. And I said no to cleaning my room because I clean my own room. I don't want anybody in there. And on top of that, this roommate wanted me to pay a third of the maid bill. When I said the maid is not my lifestyle, I'm not going to chip in on this. I'm just going to keep cleaning up after myself. And then I also found out this person is narcissistic also because they kept trying to find ways to have me do more. They're like, all right, well, because I'm paying for this maid once a month, what else can you do that's above and beyond you cleaning up after yourself? Could you do more extra chores around the house to help mitigate that? What? Yeah, that was not okay either. And every month they asked me if I would chip in this month after I said, no, the maid is not my lifestyle. It's yours. I'm not going to pay for the maid. And they kept asking and asking. And then eventually one day I finally said, stop. I feel harassed over this because they were harassing me. They sent me emails asking and emails even saying, hey, I know you said you don't want to pay for this maid. Do you want to pay this month though? It's what are you not getting, right? So, and I never addressed it till the end. And I finally said, stop, I feel harassed over this. And this person, not only did they say, oh, I'm feeling pretty chill, some kind of narcissistic reply, they're like, okay, well, I understand. I won't ask you again about the maid. And I felt so guilty to say, like, you're harassing me. Like, it felt like it was hurtful to their character. Yet it was true. It was so, so true. And you know what? Had I said it sooner, I probably would have been free from being asked to pay for a maid. And instead of stressing out or having my, blood kind of boil and get angry, it's like, what are you not getting type of situation. Could have just, nicked it in the butt. Let them know straight up. All right, and number 3. This one is more of a vulnerable expression. It's letting them know, I feel this way when you do this. And instead of saying, you make me feel X when you do this, you're giving them your power by saying they make you feel something, and you're disempowering yourself because nobody can make you feel anything that you don't want to feel. You have complete control over your emotions, believe it or not. And we're not in control of a lot of things here on earth. However, we are in control of our emotions. And it does take some self-mastery to get there, to work with your inner being and be able to stay in a higher vibration. So they call it unconditional love because it's love without condition needing to change. That's why it's unconditional. Without the condition needing to change, you can still stay in the vibration of love, regardless of what's happening externally. And that is one of the biggest keys to the law of attraction and manifesting, is staying in a high emotional vibratorial state. Vibratorial, I don't know if that's a word. It is right now. Saying, I feel this way when you do this is empowering to you. And it allows them the opportunity to make a decision on their own to say, oh, I had no idea, or what can I do? You're really opening the door for them to take action and making a shift that's going to benefit you both. And after that, the best part is if they don't reciprocate and they don't care or they don't want to try, then that's your very specific answer to this person may no longer be in your life soon, as they are not looking at your highest interest. Now, I've evolved to using this method and saying, I feel this way, and taking ownership towards how I feel. Because one, it's allowing me to have control over my emotions by saying, I feel this way. And in the back of my mind, consciously, I know I'm choosing to feel this way, and I can choose a different feeling. However, main point, I've stepped into using, I feel this way when you do this, and putting the ball in their court and just watching what happens and letting go of the outcome, the attachment to the outcome, whether if they're going to shift with you and stay in your life, or it's time to part ways, and be grateful for the relationship and be grateful that you were able to step into the courage and be vulnerable and express how you felt. That is huge. And on top of that, if they're not going to make the shift with you and they're not going to rise up to your level, it's time to let them go. They served their purpose, and part of that purpose was probably you being vulnerable and whatever else experiences you had with them. Now, to solidify all this, saying no, don't feel guilty when doing so, because it's important to value your time and the things that you want to do. Number 2, letting people know when they need to stop, especially if it's becoming a problem or a harassment type behavior, because I've been in these 2 situations. And seeing how people react to you shifting to setting boundaries is how you're going to know whether if they respect you or not. And if they don't respect you and your boundaries, they're probably narcissistic, because now you're taking something away from them, which is your time and energy, your valuable essence. And number 3, that's 4, being vulnerable is so very important, because you're expressing the truth within you and you're letting the outcome be whatever it's going to be without attachment to it, because you're living in alignment. Now, the most important thing is if somebody does agree and they want to respect your boundaries, it's important to remember that they may slip up, they may forget, it may not be so easy for them to shift right away. Remind them and reinforce it by saying, hey, we've had this conversation and you're doing this behavior again. Could you please stop it? Can we, do you see what's happening? Let them know. Let them know and address it with them that you've had the conversation. If it keeps happening again, chances are they may be lying to you and it's time to leave. It's time to leave that relationship behind. Because your time, happiness, and living a stress-free and at ease and flow life is way more important than having to constantly keep dealing with people who don't respect you. And that's part of your lesson. As an empath or empathic person, part of your lesson here on earth is to learn how to set boundaries and also learn when it's time to leave. I know empathic and empath type people don't like to leave. They don't like to give up. But you're not giving up. You're moving on. You're moving on to the next phase of your journey. So reinforce. They may not know. And let them know. And after that, you get to make that decision to squid away. Also, and this one came to me today, show understanding. And don't just say, hey, I know you're bringing this up constantly and harassing me. Try to ask them, like, hey, why are you doing this? Why do you really want this? So you don't assume what they want or what they're trying to do, like, is not really out of context. Ask for clarity. And that way you can reinforce your boundary with the clarity of what behavior or action they're choosing to represent so they can't shift it later. So try to show understanding and have a common ground by asking. Don't ever assume. Like, hey, why do you want me to pay for this maid? And it's not part of my lifestyle. Like you don't have my consent for it and you keep pressuring me. So why do you keep doing that? Ask, have conversation, because as that tension is for any of these type of things, to say no, tell someone to stop, asking for clarity, that's intention. So your intention is to move from this constant cycle that's repeating itself, because this is your lesson to learn to get into the tension, ease into it, ask, and if it's time for them to leave, so be it. And if they shift and they really want to be a part of your life, great. What a win. Congratulations. So that is all, my beautiful cosmic souls. Much love, love and light vibration out. Have a wonderful, magnificent, transformative, alchemizing day. Bye.